Another really good win from Arsenal today, but to be honest, I'm just going to get right into it. After 3-0, I was already thinking about this game against Porto next Tuesday. And I think, Arsenal have been winning so comfortably, so I was going to say so far this year, but clearly the Porto loss has stuck with me, and I think a lot of people as well, as a blimp in an otherwise perfect record. 7 wins in the Premier League in 7 games, and they've scored 31 goals in those 7 games, which is phenomenal football. And again, as I mentioned in my last video 2 months ago, we were starving for goals. People were talking about how we need a striker, Ivan Toney. I've seen people saying they were willing to see the club pay 80 million for Ivan Toney. And again, 2 months later, now we're scoring for fun, scoring for free, and every goal is brilliantly worked, with the exception perhaps of the own goal today. But again, it came down to Saka beating his man very easily. Austin Trusty was it shows you the level that Sheffield United are at, and of course the level that Arsenal are at. So full praise to them, to the players. I think it's really difficult to single out any individual Arsenal player today, because they were all fantastic. I think the only thing people are complaining about is Raya not getting a goal or an assist today. Everyone was brilliant. It was nice to see Saka come off at halftime. I know Arteta had said after the game that he was feeling sick, so he came off. Gabriel Martinelli, we saw him limping off, but it was just a cut on his foot, apparently. I know he seemed to be complaining about that to the referee. He was substituted. Ben White gets a rest. Declan Rice gets a rest as well, and we're getting players coming back. Thomas Partey is getting minutes back. And again, this is the difference now when Arsenal are competing at the highest level, like we've always wanted. You have a deeper pool of players. And again, like I said, this is the difference from last year when we were losing players at this point. Again, we lost players like Saliba and Thomas Partey. We lost Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko. And now we're getting these guys back. Now, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, not yet to get minutes since they've been out injured. Thomas Partey is back. Fabio Vieira is coming back. Gabriel Jesus, of course, always up in the air. This guy seems to be, play 4 or 5 games and he's out injured for a month or 2 months. Smith Rowe obviously getting back to full fitness. And so this is the difference now from last year, where we spent those 200 plus days at top of the league. I mean, what did it matter? This is just fuel for people to shit on Arsenal about not getting it over the line. Where they're 90% of the time last season, and the last 10% we faltered to a treble winning Manchester City 115 financial breaching team. So that whole argument's out the window anyway for me. I can find peace in that. But again, the difference is that we're getting these players back. Jurrien Timber still to come back, of course. A player who is been not allowed basically to make the impact we all know he's going to have, coming off injured in just the first game of the season. So I've seen people ask, I was asked today, I've been asked this before, would I rather see them win the Champions League or the league? And I genuinely don't know. I just want to see success. Either one of those would be success. I think hoping for a double Champions League and Premier League when Arsenal haven't ever won the Champions League, and have, it's been 20 years now since we've won the Premier League. So that's a bit far, but I think either one of those is going to attribute success to this project that's been going on for so long. It's going to give Arteta the credit he deserves, and the players part of this project. And that Arteta is the, he's sort of the benchmark for this project. We've seen Postecoglou mention it. We've seen Pep Guardiola mention this project. We've seen Pochettino has mentioned the same thing. And those two, by the way, Postecoglou, Pochettino, are way off of where Arteta was a couple years ago. Even 2 years into his takeover at Arsenal, they're way off of it. They have good players, but they don't have a style of football, and that is, I think, the benefit of Arsenal, is that they have this identity about them. Beautiful, fluid football, a rich history, a very well-loved and supported club. And I think that goes a long way when you're, one, recruiting players, and two, giving those players an identity to play on the pitch. You see it with Declan Rice. You see it with players who have come in, Odegaard as well, Kai Havertz, who have talked about the size of the club, that perhaps didn't really realize just how big of a club it was when they came here. And whether that's down to the support, to, it's any number of things, but that is the level and the benchmark that Arteta has set for this club. And now, he is the manager that clubs will look at and say, this is the plan that we'd like to follow. This is the project that we want to follow as well, this style. And it may take 3 or 4 years, but patience for a project like this is so important. And winning the league or winning the Champions League is going to give that project success, which is so important at this level. Because if you keep going on, we're going on 6 years, 7 years of Arteta in charge, and winning the league, beating Manchester City is such a difficult task. Obviously the best coach in the world is there. The resources they have are essentially infinite. They seem impervious to punishment. And regardless, the job that Arteta has done is phenomenal. Of course, Jurgen Klopp still beating Manchester City to the league a couple years ago. Phenomenal job from Klopp as well. But it's anyone who doesn't see this through now at this point, who doesn't understand that Arteta has done this all on his own, essentially. That the plans, of course, his coaching staff and if everyone has an impact on it. But his ideas and values that he's brought, of course, things that he most likely learned while being at Arsenal and captaining Arsenal. Anyone doubting him at this point is an Arsenal fan. Is just a certified loser. Too much of an ego to admit that you're wrong. There's people out there with big channels who can't even afford to celebrate goals or celebrate wins because they don't want to be wrong. So they would rather be right and be miserable than enjoy this beautiful football that we're seeing under Arteta. And what more can you say about people like that? Just real quickly, I don't want to, again, like I said, I don't want to talk about every single player because I'd be here for 30 minutes. Saka, another really good performance from him. The dribbling, the hunger, desire, top class today. He's equaled Sadio Mane's best ever goal and assist tally again. So he did it last season. He's already done it now. 11 games to play. Fantastic form Bukayo Saka has been in. I thought Havertz in that number 9 position is getting better and better and better. I don't want to see Jesus there on Saturday. I don't want to see him there Tuesday. I don't want to see anyone but Kiwior at left back on Saturday. I don't want to see anyone other than Kiwior at left back on Tuesday because these things are working. You don't want to disrupt the momentum. And at the moment, like I said, everything is working. Jesus, let him come in as a sub and make an impact. Havertz is doing a job perfectly. This goal that he scored today, this is the Leverkusen Havertz that Chelsea thought they were getting. He's had to build up this confidence. He's had to get comfortable in this team. He's played this sort of left 8 in the midfield. It's impacted Odegaard's movement. It's impacted Rice's movement. But when he's playing this number 9, just like he did at Liverpool, like he did today, like he did the last 3 games, he's been fantastic. The finish today from Havertz, brilliant. Extremely happy to see him continuing his good form. Hopefully it continues. Again, there's people who are going to be looking to make an impact when they get these minutes and looking to make an impact in training, but that is their position to lose. Kiwior and Havertz, that's their position to lose. Trossard obviously already in high contention for that number 9, that false 9 role, but now that Jesus is back, we have even more competition for it. But again, I don't want to see either of those two dropped for Saturday or for Tuesday. It's working. Let's let it continue to work. So let's just wrap it up here. Of course, like I said at the beginning of the video, losing Saliba or Gabriel would be a horrible impact on the team at the moment. Of course, we do have these versatile fullbacks who can come in at center back. Ben White, Tomiyasu can do the job. Tomiyasu, of course, playing all the way across the back line. Kiwior can slot in for that Gabriel role if need be. But it is really important that we're getting these players back. And in my opinion, this is Arsenal's best chance to win the league. Last year, we went off to a flying start, and now we're sort of like how Man City were. Slower start, not quite hit the pace. But you look at the pace we're at now. 31 goals in 7 games is almost unheard of. I've talked to my American friends here, and they've asked me how a game went. I said, we won 6-0, we won 5-0, and they are shocked to hear that, because there's such a common misconception about this sport being boring, it being low scoring. 6 goals, 3 goals is exciting. A game can end 2-2 and be exciting. But the way we're playing right now, and we're playing without a full squad, with players that have been missing, that are supposed to be, these huge impact players, like, of course, Timber. And I cannot wait to see him back, to see the impact he can make on this team. And hopefully we can go on to win it, because I do not think Liverpool can keep grinding out results like they have been. They have a monumental injury list, and City are missing a couple important players, and they themselves are grinding out games, sort of like Arsenal were last season. And I think that's the difference. There's players still here who lost the league, basically let it slip out of their hands, if you will, and they don't want to see that happen again. There's experience now in this squad. You have young players like Saka who are playing like veterans. Havertz, a lot of experience. Odegaard was the captain all the way last year, tried his best to take us there, to drag us along. There's experience there. Saliba, Gabriel, these players have all felt that hurt of losing out to a league title last season, and I think this is most likely our best chance to win it this year. And of course, only time will tell. But again, just sort of going off these last 7 games, and of course taking into account the style that we're playing and the way Liverpool and City are playing. Again, like I said, they're grinding these results out, and Arsenal are winning comfortably. Liverpool have a very difficult run of games coming up. City do, of course, as well. But Arsenal do seem to, they seems like they have gotten a lot of those extremely difficult games out of the way, and also got results from those games. So, of course, still need to go to Tottenham, still need to play Man United and City all away. But in the form that we are now, I can comfortably say I'm going into these games with optimism and hope, really, that we can continue on, and keep getting these big results that we need. Not just goals scored, but big results from a point standpoint. So, guys, that's it. Really long video. Thanks very much for watching. If you made it this far, I do really appreciate it. Always get your comments in below, of course. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you when I see you.